So you have present tense, el presente, reflexive stem changers, and irregulars, just like this. So then we have imperfect preterite, and we have two is all we did. We did ser, ir, dar, and ver, and stem changers, and then we did jubi, right? So the rest of it you guys didn't get, but you can add those things if you want to, but we'll come back to those. So it's not something to worry about right now. Okay, so in the first flap, right up top, we drew two boxes for the regular preterite tense endings, right? And we filled in an AR verb, and for your homework, you were supposed to be able to hold it up and show me that you have an ER and an IR verb. Who can do that? Or an ER or IR. I shouldn't say both because they're the same. And then we go to el pretérito, right? So this is what yours should look like. We're going to skip past the trigger words and the preterite versus imperfect for right now. And we're going to move on to this section right here, which I did not fill out. And so I'm going to share my slides so that we know what to write. Okay, so let's. Ser, dar, and ver. These are the three we're going to add today. So if you notice up here in the top right, you have sar, ir, dar, and ver, and stem changers on your little tab, right? You're staying in the top section with these four verbs, ser and ir, dar and ver, right? So this is the top flap only. You're keeping those three verb boxes on that top flap. Now, again, if you were in my class, Michaela and Jasmine, if you have your flip book, it looks a little bit different, but it's the same information, it's just in a little bit of different place. So don't worry about that part because you have all this. So for ser and ir, those only have one verb box right there. Do you guys know why?
It's
Anybody?
the same thing.
You're exactly right. Those two verbs in the past tense have exactly the same conjugations. And I don't know why that is, because it's kind of weird that I would have a sentence where someone might be confused about if I'm saying I went to the doctor or I was a doctor, you know? But that's the way it is. You just got to pay attention to the context of the conversation and those little words, the to the, and you know, whatever. You got to pay attention to the context and the little connecting words. But those conjugations are the same. Do you guys remember what they are? How about the yo form? Nobody? Oh my gosh. What if I tell you it starts with an F? Or if I tell you to think in your head, I went to the bathroom.
Fui.
Yo, ajá, eso
Fui.
es. Fui, exactamente. Fui, yo fui. ¿Y tú? Nothing?
Fuiste, I think.
Ajá, Jessica, perfecto. Fuiste, right? I'm going to show you a slide with all that information filled out so that you can be writing as we're talking about it. So we have fui, fuiste, just like Mason and Jessica shared. Ser and ir are the same. So you should label it so that you know it's both of them, right? Él, ella, usted fue. She went to school. Ella fue a la escuela, right? Nosotros fuimos. We went. Vosotros fuisteis. Something I like to teach my students, if you did not learn the vosotros form last year, I have an easy fix for that. In the preterite tense, it's super easy, and let me show you how. Check this out. This one says fuiste. The to form says fuiste, right? Now look, if you take off the is at the end of fuisteis, it says fuiste, right? So the vosotros form is exactly the same as the to form plus the letters I-S. And it's like that in all of the forms. So all you have to do is mimic your to form and add is to the end. And then we have ellos, ellas, ustedes fueron. They went. Ustedes fueron al banco. You guys went to the bank, right? Now, we're going to worry about when to use these and what we're doing after we get our chart filled out. I want you guys to have a resource where if you question what you're producing, because I will require you to produce quite a bit in this class. So I want you writing and using the language, right? But I want you to have a resource where you can always go back and look. And that's the point of us filling out this chart. So dar and ver, those are left there separate from the regular ones. But if you look at them, they look kind of normal, especially ver, right? Be, it's an ER verb. So vi, viste, vio, vimos, visteis, vieron. The only thing I can see is that it doesn't have accent marks. So that's one way that it is irregular, yes? And probably really the only way that ver is irregular. But if you look at dar, what's the biggest difference between dar and ver if you're just thinking about their infinitive? What kind of verbs are they? Dar and ver. Remember, there's 3 different kinds of verbs. What kinds are there?
AR,
Uh-huh.
ER, IR.
Perfecto. Mira, mis estudiantes. That's because she had a good teacher last year. I'm just saying. So there's AR, ER, and IR verbs, right? Dar is an AR verb. Ver is an ER verb. But if you look at those, they have exactly the same endings. That's kind of crazy because dar should have different endings because it's an AR verb, right? So it is definitely irregular. We put them together so that you can, you know, kind of contrast them, see that, oh gosh, one is an AR verb, one is an ER verb, but they have exactly the same endings. So yeah, that's why we put those together. But ver, the only thing that's irregular is that it doesn't have accent marks.
I have a question. I'm kind of confused where to write this. Are you writing on top of the flap?
Yeah, so let me show you where I would be writing it. Paula's here, let me let her in. Okay. So let me share then my camera. Share. Here we go. So here's my list, right? And we are going to open it to where ser, ir, dar, ver, and stem changers would be listed, right? We're going to open it so that that's on the bottom. And then I'm going to write this information up top. Ooh, let's see. So I'm going to want my 3, let me grab my pen here. Oh gosh, I'm going to do this free-handed. Okay, so there would be my 3 verb charts, and then I just keep going here. I mean, if you are advanced and you're like, I don't need to write those stupid pronouns there, then you could literally just make 6 boxes, you know? Like, doot, doot, doot. You're like, I already know where yo goes on that box. And so then you really don't have to write it in if you don't want to. But that's what mine would look like if I were the one doing it. Let me switch back so that you guys can see the conjugation. How we doing on ser, ir, dar, and ver? You doing good? Okay.
Yes.
Everybody's writing it in? Okay, I'll write it in on mine so that mine can look as perfect as yours. Wait, but I need my straight edge back because otherwise I'll fail at life. And we're just going to fill in those verbs. Ser, ir, dar, and ver. So we are ready for the stem changers when we start on Monday. We're ready to fill those in, okay? All right, guys, have a great weekend.
Bye, Miss Mary.
Adios. Adios.